Welcome to the Calculus, a collection of micro lectures, video lessons, and sample exercises. Let's illustrate the chain rule for antidifferentiation of composite functions. Now, previously we have learned important basic rules in finding the antiderivative of such functions. But this time, some of those rules may not be automatically used because some of the functions may be expressed as composite functions. Let's have a short review. We know that a function is a composite function. Let's say we have here f of x, which is x to the power of, let's say, 5. And our g of x, let's say this is 2x plus 3. A composite function is where we use another function to describe the variable previously. It's the entire function now here. So say for example, we have here f of g of x. Instead of x, it's the entire g of x. So we have here, instead of x to the power of 5, this becomes, the x becomes the g of x, which is 2x plus 3. So that's actually 2x plus 3 to the power of 5. And yes, this is an example of a composite function. And if you are tasked to identify the integral or the antiderivative of that function with respect to x, you cannot automatically use the previously discussed rules because there is something that we need to integrate here in order for us to identify the antiderivative of this entire function, which is again a composite function. Now we have two different methods. Actually, there are a lot of steps, but I'm going to present you two steps which are actually, or two methods or two techniques which are just actually similar to one another, just described or discussed or illustrated differently. The first one here is the chain rule. We will have the second technique on a separate video as well. The chain rule tells us that if we have here the integral of, again, a function which is a composite function or combination of both two with respect to x, we cannot have its automatic value or automatic result if we cannot integrate here a certain first derivative of the function inside another function. So we will have to introduce g prime of x here before coming up with the result. This is actually in relation to the idea on the chain rule of the differentiation. Take note, we have the chain rule for derivatives, right? Let's not forget that if we have a function 2x plus 3 raised to the power of 5 and you are going to solve for its derivative, it's not just any derivative that you can think of because you're going to treat first the entire function as 1. So using the power rule for differentiation or for the derivatives, you have here 5, 2x plus 3, 5 minus 1, which is 4. This is a short review on differentiation, times the derivative of what is inside. And the derivative of 2x plus 3 is 2. Now this would mean the result for that is 10 times the fourth power of the binomial expression 2x plus 3. That's for differentiation. Now, take note that antidifferentiation is its reverse operation. Therefore, if you are going to talk about the antiderivative of this function, we are to integrate here the g prime of x, which is similar to this 2 here, because this 2 is the derivative of your innermost function. Before we can give its actual value or the result of the antiderivative, this needs to be added, okay? And whatever would be the result of that when integrated in our given integral, this would result to this form. Just identify the antiderivative of your f with respect to your g of x plus c. We will have some examples later on, illustrations for this using the chain rule. And some examples as well will also be identified using the other technique I'm going to present again in a separate video. So this is the chain rule. Before we can get its antiderivative, which is this entire form, we need to identify the g prime of x, which is the derivative of whatever function that you have here. Again, examples will be given later on. Before we end this, this is not just true for this type of functions or composite functions. Take note, we also have these forms. Let's say square root of 2x plus 3. Okay, therefore this can be written as 2x plus 3 to the power of 1/2. So if we're going to have integral of 2x plus 3 to the power of 1/2 dx, you cannot automatically solve for that because you need to introduce here the g prime of x, which is the derivative of this innermost function. Now, aside from that, of course, we also have other forms. Let's say e to the power of 2x plus 3. This is actually a composite function. By the way, for the second example, your f2 of x there would be square root of x, and your g2 of x is actually your 2x plus 3, right? You have this inside as a radicand, this one here. So for this example, your f sub 3 of x is actually e to the power of x, and your g sub 3 of x is a 2x plus 3, which became your exponent here. And yes, this is again a composite function. So in finding the integral of e to the power of 2x plus 3 dx, we cannot automatically use the exponential rule because we are to introduce here the g prime of x before doing so. And of course, one last example, if you have the integral of sine instead of the angle x, which is now 2x plus 3, where your f sub 4 of x becomes sine x, and your g sub 4 of x is actually 2x plus 3. Similarly, this became your angle, and yes, this is a composite function. So before doing that, we need to introduce here the g sub 4, let's have here g sub 3 prime of x before finding its antiderivative using the specific rule for sine. Similar here, using the specific rule for exponential. Okay, so that would be our concept here for chain rule. Yes, some examples we provide later on, but the idea here is we need to identify or insert something here. This is for the chain rule for antidifferentiation of composite functions. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now.